social media, the most popular things are very slapstick comedy and colloquial things that matter not to the economy. And I'm of the belief that it is done intentionally, especially in Africa, that the algorithms always favor comedy and non-educational
these demands.
Yes. And all of these demands is 5 days.
5 days.
5 days, okay.
5 days, not only to change them, but we want a commitment.
As a direct descendant of Jacob Zuma, she's young, she's vibrant, and she's leadership material.
How so? Most of them that sit in these positions are not academians of these positions. And it shows that the decisions that they are making, that it is more about about leadership. You know, for me personally, I don't even respect anymore when I am in a restaurant and I hear them, hey, leadership, hey, because they're not leading. They're not leading. They're not leading.
Say Youth League in MK, Youth League in the EFF, even though you call them the student, DASO at DA, any of them who have shown interest or support because they are youth impacted by the same challenges. Any political party has shown any interest? So I'm doubting. So I'm here, I doubt. Please convince me.
Who funded the 1976 march?
The people did not. Mashiane Politically Incorrect, I went to the union buildings on that particular day that we wanted to go and check the youth of South Africa. And ever since then, I interviewed two youths. One was telling me because of their political affiliations, they thought that thing it wasn't going to work because it's he said it, and I want to quote him. He said, it's influencers, it's social media influencers heading the revolution. It's not going to happen. And I accused him that isn't it because you guys, the youth of South Africa, are embedded with the actual politics of the elders? And well, it was what it was. And another youth came and said, these people are old and they must be ejected. Amani Dube. I was tempted when I heard her to say, let me ask her, is she related to Giorgio Amani?
Well, for the shares, I would wish I was.
Okay.
But definitely not.
Sure. Please tell us where your politics based, where you were groomed, was a happy, and then you grew up doing this until you get up to being a social activist.
Oh, it's a long journey. So I was actually born in Galafang Hospital in Pretoria. My mom and dad were staying this side. My dad was in construction at the time and my mom was a teacher. But my dad is originally from Mpumalanga. My mom from the Eastern Cape. But I grew up between KZN, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Mpumalanga as well. So I am properly a South African by all means, and there's no area where I stayed the longest. It's always been between all of these spaces, primary school, high school, all over the place. Graduated, went into the medical waste management business. I was employed in one of the black-owned medical waste management companies, but soon after that, I realized that honestly, I do want to do my own thing. I want to be my own boss. And entrepreneurship has always been my thing and my passion. But obviously, I think a lot of people know with that and being young and being a female came with a lot of red tapes from the system itself and from the people that had the position to empower whatever it is that I had envisioned. And I have a digital marketing agency. I host the South African Inclusive Indaba, which is the one that is managing and coordinating the national shutdown on the 17th of November. And really, My my passion's always been about youth entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship as a whole. But being in the business, I also experienced a lot of, or I picked up on a lot of indifferences between corporate governance, entrepreneurs, and private sector. That's when I formulated South African Inclusive Economy, where I then would host leaders in those industries, and I'll pick a topic annually. Say, for an example, agriculture, what the policies say, what private companies say, what government wants, and how it affects the entrepreneurs. And it's so misaligned. And that's why we do not have an inclusive economy. I also am the director of an NPO that focuses on AYPs, which is the youth population. We do sensitizations. I have another one in the Eastern Cape where we are doing agriculture in rural areas. So I'm really diverse in terms of really wanting to see our country flourish and minimize poverty as much as we can. We've got brilliant people, but now we are losing ourselves on a daily because of the systems that are hindering us from progression.
Thank you, Amani. Youth, who is youth in South Africa? Is it 18 to 35? Is it 13 to 35? And in your target, when you say youth, who do you define as? And are you youth? And are you able to disclose when were you born?
I will not disclose that.
No problem at all. Just
Never discloses.
just define the youth for us.
But the youth for me starts from, I'd say 11 rather.
Okay.
Because, I mean, on a holistic approach, for me, preferably, I would love to see a point where we reach, where we start grooming our children at a younger age, especially when they are finding themselves. And I feel that that age from 11 to 16 maybe is so important, but they overlooked. And usually the youth is considered from 18 to 36. But those people already possibly have lost themselves along the way with influence, social media, the world in general, and the oppression and the influence, especially from the West, that is very, very influential. And, it really does just take a huge part of your decision making. And I mean, if we think about youth,
Exactly. Because this is where I'm coming to say, then between the youth and the youth in Dala, then there are oldies. I'm deliberate to call them oldies because we are going to ageism them. We must ageism them to define who are these people. The youth that I was with before you, they all lament the fact that we've got very old people who are taking decisions for young people. Yeah. And now I was contesting that this young youth, I'm not talking about youth in Dala, this young youth, deliberately hero worship these elders because they buy them everything. If there's no separation of powers, if I could use that word for lack of a better one, will we ever find a revolution if the youth are afraid and worship these oldies? And define these oldies, at what age do you think these people must resign from political and public administration? At what age should they, and who are they? I don't want speculations. I want them. Let's define these people. Okay. Is it Gwede Mantashe? Is it Julius Malema? Is it Zizi Kodwa? Is it Fikile Mbalula? Is it Gaten Mackenzie? Kenny Kunene? Who are these oldies who are holding this revolution not to succeed?
I think I can box them together. And the reason I say this is because and unfortunately for Julius Malema, Gaten Mackenzie generation, those are the people that they saw leading a revolution. And it's natural to idealize someone who you've seen do the work on the ground and be successful at that. But I think a lot of nowadays they're called 1K. It's difficult for them to detach themselves from the older generation, because those were their role models, although they are disappointing us right now. But it's really hard to see your parents or your idols and see them in a negative light. And also, I think there's a huge fear amongst AMA 1K. I'll just use the term 1K. Take no offense. AMA 1K, because they've seen success in education, working, and being able to be in the middle class bracket, although that middle class bracket is very questionable. But they see themselves there. So anything that would challenge a change within their comfort or what they see as liberation and freedom, then they are skeptical about, versus Amatuke Abaditin. Because listen, they are very vocal in saying, listen, we were not there, and this is now. And I am in agreement with that. Not taking away from history, not taking away from the aftermath psychologically, mentally, the mental parts, and the depression and the trauma that came with being a part of the revolution of coming out of apartheid. And again, it takes a toll on every one of us. What's happening right now, seeing our country being depleted and deteriorated such a rapid
You thank
rate.
them and you acknowledge their efforts.
Definitely.
But bantetele lead.
Not to even ukutatela. You know, once you have been there and experienced, it's your responsibility to also
Hand over the baton.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
And that's where they're failing us, the older guys, Abo Kwete, Nabo Cyril. They don't want to let it go. They don't want to let it go. And a huge part, and I think it also plays a huge part of it, is that most of them that sit in these positions are not academians of these positions. But abane. And it shows that the decisions that they are making, that it is more about abo leadership. You know, for me personally, I don't even respect anymore when I am in a restaurant and I hear them, hey, leadership, hey, ban, because they're not leading. They're not leading. They're not leading by example. Very few and far between will you hear anyone that idolizes Abo Kwete, idolizes Abo Figile. We don't have the same respect that they had for Abo Steve Biko. Okay. Do you understand?
yeah. So, who is too old to lead? I think the problem is youth. This is the problem I personally have with the youth. They are afraid to define their problems. And bringing you here is one of those things, because you are going to go and march. But we must know the problems, because I could be one of the people, because I'm no longer youth. Yeah. I could be one of the instigators of your problems. Could it be that in a studio like mine, I do not have a youthful co-host? Do you understand? Stuff like that. So I want you to define your problems. Is 65 too old?
Very.
For parliamentarians?
Very. As it is in any workforce.
So anyone in parliament who is 65 and older should retire.
We can't have laws or age of retirement when it comes to certain jobs and it's not in parliament.
Okay.
It must be fair all across all sectors.
All right.
So there mustn't be a difference. You can't be 90 like Paul Biya, who's 93 and he still wants to be president. To understand what contribution do you have? And again, I believe that the older you get, you have less to lose.
Okay, so Paul Biya is an example from Africa.
The majority of our presidents in Africa are a great example of
Umnangagwa and
power. They're a great example.
Do you put Jacob Zuma in that clique of people who gave us the revolution, who gave us this thing, but they are still in power as a president of MK, and he's got ambitions of becoming the president of the country? Do you group them in that, or with him you want special treatment?
I don't think there should be special treatment. His contribution specifically to or Babu or Jacob Zuma. His contribution has not gone unnoticed.
Okay.
With all presidents, even Abu Ponbiya themselves, their contribution have not gone unnoticed. But it's important to then groom the people that have potential, and we have plenty.
Okay.
Even within the MK, even within the ANC, in each and every party, there are young people that do have leadership skills. So groom them. You can't be the president right now and groom them because it's a fairly new party, yeah?
So Ududu Zile, for example, as a direct descendant of Jacob Zuma, she's young, she's vibrant, and she's leadership material.
How so?
How so is she's the second level. Remember, in the MK party, we have seen them trying a lot of leaders, but they get ejected.
Trial and error, that's fair.
Exactly. But with Dudu Zile, you know that she's not going to be ejected. I spoke at different podcasts with various people to say, she's leadership material, then why don't you plant her there? And let's see. Because if you're wasting time with her, if MK wants to put her as the next president, if MK wins the elections, she's probably going to be very high up. And she's unfireable. Why don't MK invest in her? What would be the problem if that happens?
I don't think that anyone doesn't deserve a chance, but I must say that on a political front or parties particularly, I really have no interests.
Yes.
Over and beyond what happens internally in political parties. I'm not politically affiliated.
Yes.
I would rather not have an opinion on things that I know minimal. You know, I don't have much information on.
Yeah.
I don't even know Dudu Zile's political stance or her ambitions or where she wants to see the MK party, for an example.
Yes.
So I wouldn't know really. So my opinion really wouldn't be fair because it's not well informed.
Thank you. So you are a firm believer that you yourself would actually rather own the revolution, pursue, because if you want the nation to shut down, you might cause an Arab Spring, meaning a change of leadership might be forced. You might force the hand of government to change. Do you have leaders to replace Cyril Ramaphosa if that happens?
We've got plenty of leaders.
That's why I want this podcast to be about practical things. What is it that you think should happen without fearing people? For example, you could say we would go and find, I don't want to say a retired judge, someone to come. We want you to be the president. You know what happened in Tanzania when the youth they lost confidence against the president?
Yeah.
They went to the military barracks to say, please go and take over the government because they don't have anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to you, in Nepal, the youth, they do not have to be militarized or anything. After they overthrew everyone, they knew what they wanted. So I just want to check with you. Do you guys have an idea of what this thing is going to be about? Like Linyoko, what do you want this thing to be?
So I would not like, or I don't envision violence.
Yes.
I'd rather steer away from it because bloodshed is not nice. That's why I'm trying to ensure by all means possible that we adhere to the law. Law is important.
Yes.
This is about systems that are put in place, right, that are hindering our economic growth as a country. Instead, it is pushing us back, and we need to be practical about things. So you don't have to burn down a country in order to fix it.
Okay.
I have hope that in our strategy, which I'll deliberate on, in portions. You know, there's so many marches right now for GBV, for this illegal immigration and so forth and so on. We have all of these problems, but we need to change the policies. We need to ensure that people are involved from the ground up. not from above. And above is usually not even people that are South African. We need to ensure that those systems are in favor of the citizens of South Africa. So the march that is being held on the 17th, the national shutdown, here's what's going to happen. On the 17th of November, we march. We march to the South African Reserve Bank, Parliament, Union Building, the BASA, and the banks involved. Hopefully. Right now, I cannot confirm the routes because we have submitted, but we need, obviously, for them to respond. I speak with my hands quite a bit. And then we will have demands. We're giving them 5 days to respond in working with us to ensure that, for an example, that the politicians involved in corruption are held accountable. We need a warrant of arrest. We can't be sitting in commissions day in, day out, and people are proven to be corrupt and really messing up South Africa, yet they still have salaries. They are suspended, for an example, and they are still earning salaries. They are still using their power and their influence outside. That's not fair. If you have policies and laws, they must apply to all. Number one, they must be arrested effective immediately. With the rand manipulation, the banks are involved. This has been ongoing for years now. I believe Standard Bank paid about almost 50 million rands as an apology of some sort or a compensation, which is not fair. We're talking about 50 to 100 trillion that the South African people have lost through this rand manipulation. Again, there is the 7 rand to the dollar issue, and it is so unfair to us, the consumers, at the end, because we are buying products for triple, almost 4 times the price, which affects the price of bread, it affects the price of petrol, it affects the price of import. A simple thing like this glass, if it's made in China, if it's imported, and we're buying it at 18 rand instead of 7 rand to the dollar, the person in business that is reselling it will put their own markup, and then it makes things expensive in South Africa. That's why 1,000 rand doesn't go as far as it used to. So those are the issues that we are tackling. It's about the systems. I think it is, and I think there were arguments in the meetings that we are holding almost on a daily basis to make sure that they are the citizens are contributing and being part of the conversation and part of the grievances, so that when we deliver as inclusive economy, we are transforming into an inclusive economy. So everyone needs to be included and their voices need to be heard, definitely. And people have, questions around why not tackle just one issue, but they're all interlinked. The South African Reserve Bank is not owned by us. It's not managed by us. Certain families that are well known in South Africa, they in Stellenbosch, are known to have percentages in most of these entities, which is worrisome that really recently they are the ones writing the policies and influencing all of these things, but they're not held accountable, meaning that the laws and the policies of the country, which are the government is responsible for, is not protecting the citizens. And that's why we are in the states that we are in. Now we are demanding that those policies and the laws make sure that the rest of the world and everyone trying to do business or be in business or even invest in South Africa, they do comply to our laws, and we don't end up being everyone's playground as it seemingly is right now.
Warrants of arrest and people must be jailed. Who are these people?
Everyone who has sat in these commissions and there is evidence of them being guilty of corruption, fraud, bribery, and taking a majority of those envelopes underneath. All of those people should be jailed.
Okay.
There's no way that our leaders are showing such corruption and lawlessness, and the laws of the country still protects them. it is unfair because now then you are grooming more criminals in the country because now everyone will want to be in politics.
On this conditions,
it's easy clearly that if you are part of a certain group or a certain political party or whatever, that you can do whatever, have alliances and meetings at McDonald's parking lot and take envelopes and things like that, and it's normal. We can't normalize such a society because if we're grooming leaders for the future, really truly and honestly, what example do they have? It is corrupt, and we are coming from a poverty-stricken mindset and financial point of view. So it's easy to be manipulated to having a few millions here and there, and that's the problem. And I think even with the system that we have, even with the governance that we have and the guilty politicians, I won't say all, but majority in my point of view, are guilty of this because they came from extreme poverty. They bought into a system that was already corrupt. The apartheid regime was a corrupt system. They were removed. When they sat there, the system was already corrupt, and deals were made that behind closed doors. We don't know what certain people were doing in Camps Bay and what they were talking about for years and years and years. So all of those things have led us to where we are. There are, but there's no accountability. You can't be a part of an investigation and then chigi tomorrow you are president. There must be really strict laws, and people, if you're a minister of trade and industry, you must have the academia, the knowledge and the experience of that, meaning that then you inspire the youth to be educated, to be present, to be interested in politics and economics, geopolitics, macroeconomics and things like that. And everything is systematic because even on social media, the most popular things are very slapstick comedy and colloquial things that matter not to the economy. And I'm of the belief that it is done intentionally, especially in Africa, that the algorithms always favor comedy and non-educational things, while China is even saying if you're not educated in the topic that you're talking about as a content creator, then you cannot, you won't be permitted to do so. We need to have those type of systems in place. That's how you fix a system, a broken system. You don't just remove one, because that's what we're facing right now. The apartheid regime was removed, and then the ANC government was put in place, but the system had not changed. Really, it still favored the white people, just like the BEE Act. I know I'm derailing, but bear with me. The BEE Act confuses me as to how is it favorable to the black person when majority of the stakeholding is still with the white person. So who's really benefiting from the triple BEE Act? Is it not the white person who's guaranteed to have the huge percentage of business, and they do have infrastructure, and the policy is actually favoring them more than the black people, which are the majority of South Africans? So all of these things need to be looked. And that's where we're driving this thing. So this national shutdown is not just a one-day thing. It's the beginning of a lot of conversations that need to be had. I don't believe that the G20 should proceed because there are tables, different tables. If you go to an event, there's table 1 over there, the big one with the most important people, and there's table 50. South Africa is there by the door at the entrance, if you ask me. Because yes, you have a seat, within this little summit that you're having, but in the decision making, are you favored? Because someone said, if you are not sitting in the table, then you're the meal, and we are the meal in South Africa right now, because everyone is making decisions about our policies. Outside, billionaires, they are talking, implementing, vaccinating us. We are guinea pigs of climate, cloud seeding, and all of those things that affect us, because they are using us as guinea pigs, and our policies are allowing and permitting them, because we are taking elite, we are taking favors, and we act like the needy. We are not needy as Africans.
Standard Bank, 50 million. You allege that around 50 million to 100 trillion is the amount where the rent was manipulated. in their favor and of course detrimental to us.
Yes.
You also spoke about Lesetja Kganyago assertion that actually the rand is better placed as they look at it at 7 rand to the dollar. 20 years around, over 20 years ago, 2 decades of rand manipulation has actually benefited the few to the detriment of the rest of us in the country. These are amongst the things that you want the youth to take cognizance of, so you go and match and correct this. How do you think you're going to correct this? Because you spoke about BEE fraud. Ne?
Yes.
When you spoke about BEE fraud, you are saying actually white people are benefiting from BEE. The rand manipulation, we've got culprits identified, we know the figures, but there was never a commission of inquiry.
Yes.
As the youth, what do you want to happen? And when you give these memorandums to all these institutions, the Reserve Bank, Parliament, union buildings, and the banks, what are you going to demand regarding these issues?
I want to read it off because I don't want
Please do, please.
to make any mistakes in this. Firstly, the people's demand is an emergency rand protection directive. So we fixed the flaw. So we demand that within 5 days, South Africa Reserve Bank and the National Treasury issue an emergency rand protection directive to establish a fixed trading floor for rand at 7 rand to the US dollar. The directive must include immediate intervention and defend the rand through targeting liquidity measures and market supervision to prevent speculative attacks. Such measures will protect the value of salaries, pensions, and savings. The second one is immediate bank accountability, and they have to be accountability. And now we demand local and foreign banks that are found to have manipulated the rand or have benefited from its artificial weakening make immediate restitution by depositing funds into a national economic relief trust managed by the National Treasury. These are all doable. These are not far-fetched. The other one is that we are saying that we're demanding that 180-day freeze of fuel levy, electricity tariffs, municipal rates, and rent escalation. Within 5 days, government must implement a 180-day freeze to increase to the fuel levy, to freeze any increase on the fuel levy, and electricity tariffs, municipal rates, and rental calculations. This measure is essential to protect households from rising living costs, which we've seen happen over the years. The fourth one is a VAT and food price relief directive. So we demand within 5 days that the National Treasury and the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition issue a VAT relief directive removing VAT from all essential foods and hygiene items for a maximum of 6 months.
Thank you. Let me just start from the bottom going up.
Okay.
So the VAT, you want relief, no specification on percentage. You just want certain food items. So these food items, you assume they are going to sit, or you have submitted these food items that they must be taken out of the 15%. What?
So the memorandum that we will send will definitely have all the restrictions in the list.
But the percentage will at this VAT will remain 15.
It should not be taxed at all.
Yes, I understand.
Yes.
I'm saying VAT remains at 15%, but the food items that you want to be removed from VAT, you will submit that list. Let's say, for example, you say bread,
sanitary pads,
chili sauce, for example.
Chili sauce,
yes. So this will be removed away from the VAT, but VAT will remain at 15.
For now.
For now, thank you.
For now. That's why we need realistic,
Sure.
a realistic approach. You
Yes.
can't wake up today and say, hey, Kenya, it's progressive. You need to it down. Yes. In chance. You can just eat an elephant.
Thank you. And municipal rates, you want them to
Be
be
freezed
freezed
for 180 days.
180 days, as well as petrol price must be frozen for 180 days.
Yes.
While you are debating on what.
While we are debating and negotiating, and not really negotiating, but expressing
Yes.
our economy
Yes.
and where we are.
And emergency rent protection at so this one must be immediate within 5 days.
Within
7 rent must be.
We need them to commit
Yes.
to these demands.
Yes, and all of these demands is 5 days.
5 days.
5 days. Okay.
5 days, not only to change them, but we want a commitment.
Okay.
We want a commitment.
And you promised to send us this so we can display it here
Definitely.
for the yes. Thank you.
I'll send it through.
Yes. So the youth of South Africa, I contest. I mean, our youth are, I don't want to say nonchalant because it's the way that they abuse a lot, our youth. Our youth have this I don't care kind of thing. And those who are politicized are even more difficult to convince to come and join you. And I know you've got a list of, you issued email addresses.
Yes.
And contacts of people in, is it 9 provinces? What other provinces have you not included there?
It was Mpumalanga, but now we do. So I remember this started as just me on TikTok or on my social media, highlighting very important issues that affect us directly and indirectly.
Yes.
And the common question is, now what do we do? And that's why maybe they seem nonchalant about a lot of things, because there's a sense of defeat, because we are sensitized it's normalized to just keep up.
Yes.
And that's why there's excessive substance abuse and alcohol abuse, because there's no hope. Yes. People feel no hope, but you're not hopeful when you're not part of the conversation, or you don't know, you're just seeing the results. Yes. And the result is oppressive.
Yeah.
It's depressing. So you end up being in a depressed state of being and living.
Yes.
I don't think that they're not interested. It's just that they haven't heard people that speak their language or explain to them. And I don't know why politics and economics are so dried up when delivered. I think that's mostly problematic, because with my following, for example, I myself, when I talk about these things, and I speak as if I'm speaking to my friend, because that's how I would speak to them. And I'd love to have more conversations, even though they're at groove, where we're like, did you hear Zambia has reopened their Israeli embassy? Things like that. They should be normal conversations. It shouldn't be far-fetched. Economics is not a far-fetched concept, and politics as well. It should be normal. You should understand, if things are happening there in China and they're fighting with America, how does it impact? But it impacts you, and it really does. And now we have this attitude, I don't care what's happening next door. And this it creates a replica effect in everything we do. You understand? The Africa Trade, what do you call? Open treaty. People are not understanding those type of things and how it will actually better their lives, because that's how we used to live. Africans used to trade easily with no restrictions in trading amongst each other. But the people from outside Africa made sure that they come in and write policies that restrict us Africans to even trade freely amongst each other in our own currencies. These are all the things that people need to understand. And the youth really, I think they are fed with a lot of nothingness, that then they have nothing to contribute towards. Because if you don't know, then uzokhulumuthi. What are you really going to say? So I have a lot of faith actually in the youth of today. They are very much different from the previous generation, because the previous generation is comfortable with what they have right now, and very scared, understandably so, of losing it by challenging or poking the bear. So the youth of today is actually, it's my favorite generation because they speak their mind. They're not indebted to. They don't have envelopes to receive or lose. So really, that would be their truth.
Okay.
In all honesty, like, it's my truth, what I'm standing up for. And I know it's a bit. Other people say it's very controversial and wild, but it really silenced me. I work with people on the ground. I get emotional about these things because it's my passion.
Yes.
And to meet or come across someone, e.g., that went to a proper school, is well articulated, the brain works, but because of the normalizing and the oppressive system that we have right now, they've lost hope in themselves, let alone their country. The difference between the youth of 1976 and now is that they had hope and a love for their country. We are facing a generation that doesn't even respect their own land, because the examples that we have do not respect us. You can't respect a system that doesn't respect you. So we need to change the system.
We will. The original question was the 9 provinces. You've got, I don't know if they are coordinators, and then you've already named them. Do you know if someone is sitting in Ziraste, how will they contribute? If someone is sitting in Paris, how will they contribute to the Free State chapter? Someone in the Western Cape, like, have you gotten that far, or you only have provincial coordinators for contact? What do you have so far?
So far, we have 8 provinces that I can comfortably declare. With provincial coordinators. Northwest, unfortunately,
Not yet.
Not yet. And I did have someone, and one of this thing of fear is problematic.
Yes.
Because I had someone, they went AWOL. I had another person, and really, this is a collective effort, and it's not an I thing. It's a South African thing. It's a unity thing. It's non-political. It's non-racial. So it's just people volunteering. We're not even funded for what we're doing. It's from our love and passion and concern of this country. So, and it's unfortunate that really we do have to comply. So, the time frame that you are given by our policies and our constitution, you have to report or give a notice to the municipality and the SAPS and the metro 7 days prior to a protest or a march, so that it is not illegal. And that's what I wanted to ensure. So I'm afraid I'm running out of time. But those other provinces, we have given notices. We're waiting for feedback to plan with the metros, etc. Hopefully it's not declined. But we do have most of the metros in the country: Cape Town, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, Bloemfontein. So in each of these provinces, mostly the capitals, have confirmed and submitted the application, not even an application, the notification, the notice letter to the municipalities. And I will be posting the routes, of course, and etc. But remember that the march is on the 17th, right? And if they do not respond favorably, or at least decently, and show that we are heard, unlike that dialogue where we were asked, why do you think? Then we're shutting down all economic hubs. And now we are not asking for permission to shut down these.
So in short, if you are denied legitimate and properly guided
what other options do we have?
Then you are going to vent out and stop.
What other options do we have?
Okay.
We've been petitioning, sending petitions with no response.
You're tired of petitions.
We've been petitioning. We've been law-abiding. They are breaking the laws without accountability and arrests. We are still being lenient and following the law. But at some point, if umuntu angakuzwa, what other choices do we have?
I see on your socials they keep asking, sorry to interrupt you, they keep asking you, Joburg, where do we meet? Pretoria, where do we meet? Durban, where do we meet? Polokwane, where do we meet? You still have not finalized. The ones that you have finalized, what can you tell now? Because you said union buildings, you said Parliament, you said the Reserve Bank. Yes. So in the Pretorians will be in union buildings and which is a kilometer distance between the two of them. So in Pretoria, we could say it's the Reserve Bank and the union buildings.
Yes.
Okay. And then of course the logistics of the day will come out. Okay. And then people in Joburg, must they come to Pretoria?
No. These are the routes. Let me read them out to you.
Okay.
So with all the planning, and it's a bit difficult. That's why I haven't been taking interviews, because we need to finalize quite a number of things.
Yes.
And I don't want to share
yes, I don't want you to share logistics. Yes.
Confirmations.
Yes.
But let me put it this way: Johannesburg CBD will have its own starting point and end points.
Fine. Makes sense.
Pretoria will have their own. Cape Town, it will be one.
Okay.
We have submitted in George. Hopefully it is it's approved. In Port Elizabeth, there's 2 Eklebecha. So it's PE and East London. In Durban, it is eThekwini Central and Maritzburg Central. Mpumalanga, hopefully we can finalize, but it's Witbank. So long. Some say Witbank, Witbank. Because it's an economic hub as well, as much as parliament legislature is there in Nelspruit. Where else? Northern Cape, Kimberley, Free State, Bloemfontein. Who else am I missing? Northern Cape, Kimberley, I mentioned. Limpopo, it is Palabura and Polokwane.
Who in Palabra is your contact? Do you know already, or you just?
I do know already. So it's the email addresses which I'll give to you.
All right.
So each person can then just
all right, this fine.
Email, and we encourage people to participate and assist. We need marshals. We need to be orderly.
All right, this
we
fine.
are an educated generation,
Yes.
So we can't do this peacefully.
Let's make more questions. When I started, I spoke about the 24th of September. Were you involved in that one?
No, I was not.
You were not. Do you know the people who were involved?
I do.
And
we're working with them.
Okay. Do you know what happened?
Yes.
Deliberately asking because I would expect that you would want lessons learned so it doesn't impact on you.
Definitely.
Yes. What happened there?
So
because I went there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Reclaim SA, we have similar outcries, and we want to see similar. We have similar. What do you call it?
Similar ambitions.
And ambitions. So what happened, and my understanding with Reclaim SA, is that because they had just started by the end of August, beginning September, and just like myself, when I started 2 weeks ago,
yes,
to be interested in actually doing something, so did they. And what happened is that because there wasn't a big structure within Reclaim SA, they struggled to get, just like myself with South African Inclusive Economy, people that will go and submit on time. Then that was one of the reasons subsequently that made the march to fail. It's not that there was anything else obscure about it, but they would rather then protect the people that they don't proceed. And they did announce that it's not happening anymore. Rather than having an illegal march, they wanted to comply.
Okay.
But moving forward, when they saw my initiative, reached out, we've had meetings, very, very pleasant meetings. And with some of the things that they encountered, they've been very helpful. So we are working together.
So they are involved in this one.
They are involved in this one.
That's a very good thing. Any political parties, we've got the Youth League in the ANC, Youth League in MK, Youth League in the EFF, even though all them the students, DASO, DA, any of them who have shown interest or support because they are youth impacted by the same challenges. Any political party has shown any interest?
No, not yet. I haven't
Any
been
student organization?
No, it's students within universities, certain universities.
Have you tried to speak to any political leader about this?
No, that will be done now during this
Yes.
week. We wanted to solidify,
So will you present a plan that
and then I will
them?
present. Yes, I will present to them and invite them to join
Okay.
with preferably no political regalia.
Always very important. So you are not funded.
No.
This thing you are doing, it's very taxing financially.
Mentally, physically,
Yes,
spiritually,
yes.
every alley.
And so what I say on the podcast, and I say it to everyone, and don't take offense, when something is unlikely to happen, I say it, and when I'm wrong, I come back to say I was wrong about those guys. I don't see this happening. Please convince me how it would happen, because the people who must support you are not supporting you, and the financial muscle, it's a mountain to climb. I think it's not going to happen. Please prove me why it's going to happen, and why I shouldn't doubt you. I'll be very glad if it succeeds. I don't know to what end. Maybe you will come in and tutula my studio. But doubting Thomas's, I'm not the only one. There are people watching there thinking, it's not going to happen, because the MK guy, the guy who was here, who said you guys are not going to succeed because you are social media influencers. He's a election, he's an election head at MK Student Command in the province of Gauteng, and he says no to go. And of course I had differences with him. So I want you to convince people who are doubting, say, guys, don't let's go fella pelu. This is what we're going to do, and don't worry about this. This is how we're going to handle it.
I don't understand where the doubt comes from.
The doubt comes
And
from
let me tell you-
you have not done, not you personally.
Yes.
Yes, the youth of South Africa.
before.
Yes, and even when we march, our youth, when they march under a political umbrella or a union or a big movement. Someone is funding, and you guys are not funded. And even if you were funded, I doubt even after funding you would have mobilization, because those are very different things, and logistics as well. So I'm doubting. So I'm here. I doubt. Please convince me.
Who funded the 1976 march?
The people did not need funding. This is why I was telling the other youth that came before you that the difference is our youth got 24 September. They would rather sit in the shade, drink, and have fun. There was nothing that drives them. The difference is far huge. So that's what I'm saying. Convince me.
I don't think that the youth is unaware of the problems. And with the engagements that I've had, I mean, in 2 weeks, I must say that
You have seen a lot of hope.
If we can manage to have 8 provincial coordinators, over 5,000 volunteers, and still today...
Those are big numbers.
Those are big.
5,000 volunteers?
Yes.
Across the country.
Across the country that I know of, but
Yes.
they come in. Remember that there are emails to the national coordinators directly.
Yes.
And I just get, I do attend some of the meetings as much as I can, because this is a long process. It takes a lot. I do 4 hours
Training.
per day. It is.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. So all of these people showing interest. I've had, I believe, when I started this thing on Facebook, I wasn't doing much on Facebook, posting on Facebook. Ever since the beginning of this, I've had over 20,000 followers in 1 week.
Yes.
Those are people that are interested.
Those are big.
Those are big numbers. And I know people will argue that they are social media warriors. They are only social media warriors because they haven't been given
An opportunity.
to do something about it, and an opportunity that makes sense, that doesn't put their lives in danger or puts their salaries or their livelihood in danger. Those are the differences. Because now, I wouldn't get up and go and march if I don't understand what's happening. And I know that with people lending us their ear and understanding, and it's my responsibility as well. That's why the entire weekend I'm doing this podcast, hopefully in hopes that people understand.
To find out those doubting Thomas.
Yes, those doubting Thomases, if they give themselves an opportunity to just listen to my videos explaining why, how, when, and what we want, I think any sensible being would be a part of it.
Okay, so now let's talk. How long did you start this? Did you say 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago.
Yes.
As of the end of October.
End of October. And the 17th comes, and then what are you going to be doing between the 17th and the 5 days you're waiting? And going forward, the organization is South Africa Inclusion Economy.
Yes.
And the Reclaim South Africa is part of those who are working with you. So what are you going to be doing between now and the next March? What other advocacy programs are you going to be?
So we do want to work with other organizations such as March and March, the women's organization that's organizing the one of the 21st as well. I want it to be really, I believe that it will be more impactful and powerful if we work together and support each other. As much as I'm inviting all the youth leagues from every political party to join us in this
Their political regalia.
Because it's about the people. It's not about politics. It's about the people. This is not, it has nothing to do with a political party or a political party leader, because there is corruption across all boards across all political parties. This is really about the people, and we're not fighting. If you are in a political party, you're in a political party because you have ways and things that you'd want to see happen in South Africa, meaning that you are for the people.
Thank you.
And this is about the people. So let the people, regardless, from religious point of view, bonke abakashembe, amanazarethe, abasunta egoma charismatic churches, amaweseli. There's no division here. Singabantu asenze ubuntu for our own country.
Thank you. So, you've got an umbrella body that represents all of these organizations, yet if you don't have, you could just say no. Number two, according to what you have seen, is it more female driven? The volunteers that come to you and engage you, are they more female driven, or le majita are thing?
They are.
Yes, but even if I'm just talking about the majority. What do you think? It's a calculated guess, of course, based on what you are seeing. Start with the one umbrella body and then the women.
I think it's on a 50-50 right now.
Of women and
men.
Yes.
And it's so refreshing.
And then umbrella body?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It will be finalized though. So the entire structure of inclusive economy will be finalized. So remember, I do want to point out that I've been hosting an inclusive economy in Daba.
Yes.
An annual one. Started in 2019. And because it was annual, just one event and topical, I'd only get a team for that preparation phase and whatnot. So there wasn't a big structure or a permanent employees. Do you understand?
Yes.
So now we are converting into a civil organization, really, where the people are the ones pouring into it. And if people want to sponsor banners and transport, please, Santaco, we're calling. So this week, the plan is to reach out to all these entities, the Black Business Councils, you name it, we will be reaching out to them and pleading with them that they join or support this initiative.
In closing, what is it that you think you wanted to come and share and you have not said, so you could close it down for us?
I talk a lot, so
you could have said.
In closing, I'd really would encourage South Africans to think beyond the now, think beyond the today, and support the cause and the initiative. Abantu Abadala in 1976, almost 50 years ago, did it for us.
Remind them of your socials.
TikTok, it's Amani Dube 1. Facebook, it's SA Inclusive Economy in Daba. And what's other on YouTube? It's Amani Reports. And Instagram, it's Amani Reports as well.
Amani, thank you very much for coming.
Join us on the 17th.
Mashiane Politically Incorrect. I'm still doubtful. Not that she can't pull it because of activism, but will South African youth join the call? Will South African youth stop what they are doing to come and converge? I want you to compare her crowd with crowd pulled by political parties, even during office hours and days of work. Compare the two. You will see her visuals when they come, but I want you to compare. Those people have paid organizers, paid mobilizers. They've been doing it for many years. They know how to convince the youth to come out. And that is the difference that I'm talking about. Mashiane Politically Incorrect, let me not speak much because I'm going to discourage each other.
We are shaken.